Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
What
ma'am.
is your full name?
My name is Damanjit Kaur Mandal.
Do you work or study?
I have completed my senior secondary education from Akal Academy, Reedkhedi.
All right. Let's talk about happiness. What used to make you happy as a child?
When I was a child, my parents, when brought gifts for me, felt happy, and I think whenever they brought gifts for me, I felt most happy. And whenever my mother cooked good food for me, then also I felt happy.
Okay. Does buying new things make you happy?
Yes, most of the time when I buy new things, I feel happy as I get new clothes and new things to wear and to enhance my wardrobe.
What will make you happy in the future?
I think if I will get good marks in my 12th standard, that will make me happy.
Let's talk about library. Did you use a library as a child?
Yes, when I was in school, we used to go library during Saturdays in our periods to read books that were related to our subjects.
Okay. What kind of people would go to a library to study and read?
I think people who are keen to read books prefer going to libraries as it increases their knowledge and their vocabulary.
Okay. Do you go to the library often now?
Yes, most of the time I prefer going to library because I get to know about more facts and information, and also I like to read books because I like stories.
What kind of books you like to?
Most of the time I prefer reading books that are fictional and of stories, and sometimes I prefer reading books that contain fairy tales
Why so?
because I enjoy reading about the Barbie dolls and the fairies.
Alright, this is the end of part 1. Now, in part 2, I will give you a cue card. You will have 1 minute to prepare and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Here is your cue card and this is your paper and pencil.
Thank you, ma'am. May I start? There are many people that I admire in my life and want to work with them, but the most admirable person that I consider will work with in my future is the teacher from my childhood. When I was in class 3rd, my teacher named Neha Sharma was my favorite teacher. She had different techniques to make the study easier and more enjoyable. And most of the children in our class felt difficulty while studying science, but our teacher Neha Sharma, she made studies more easier, and with different techniques she made the study more enjoyable, and children did not feel bored in her class, and we enjoyed learning. And I want to work with her because I want to become a teacher in future, and I want to adopt the techniques and the methods she used while teaching us. And I think if I will have that and I think if I will have that techniques in myself, and I then I will be able to then I will be able to help children with more efficiency. And I think that's why I want to become like my teacher in future.
Alright, can I have paper pencil back?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in part 3, let's discuss this topic. Can children choose who they sit next to in the school in your country?
Yes, children can choose with whom they want to sit in their class, but nowadays teachers prefer not letting children sit with their friends because they get distracted while studying.
Does it matter if a child likes their classmates?
No, I do not think it matters if child likes their classmate, because in order to survive in the class, children need to make friends.
How can children get along with their classmates?
Children get along with their classmates when the teacher lets them be friends with each other. In order to get more marks in studies, children need to be friends with each other so that they can sit comfortably in the class.
Do you feel that having good colleagues is the most important thing at work?
Yes, I think having colleagues that are familiar with each other is better, because if colleagues will not be familiar with each other, then they will not be able to work as they might feel nervous. So I think uh, colleagues must be familiar with each other.
My question is, having a good colleague is most important thing at work.
Yes, I think having good colleagues at work is most important thing, because if the colleagues will not be good, then the companies might face troubles, and they will not get success.
Why?
Because if the colleagues will not be good in their work, then they will not do the work on time, and they will have no focus on their work, and it will affect their companies.
Okay. What is more important? The building people work in or the colleagues, and why?
I think both things are important. Buildings are also important, because if the infrastructure would be poor, then the colleagues might feel not comfortable, and the good colleagues are also important, because in order to survive in the company, and to increase the income of the company, good colleagues are necessary.
What do you think makes someone a good colleague?
I think a person, when having time organized and time management, they become good colleague, and they must have knowledge regarding their targets and their work.
Alright, this is the end of part 3.
Thank you.
Now let me give you your feedback. In part 1, you said most happy. It makes you more happy, or it makes you happier.
Okay, ma'am.
Then in part 2, you should speak more. Though it was good, but try to speak more in real exam. If I talk about part 3, discussion. First question was, can children choose who they sit next to in your country? First you said yes, they can sit whatever they want. Then you said teachers don't allow. If you are talking about past, you could have said earlier it was allowed, but now they are not supposed to, because they want them to focus on the studies. So you can cite the example, or you can give the reasons. Okay? Then the question was about what is more important, the building or the colleagues. There you were saying both, and you should say workers, not colleagues there.
Okay, ma'am.
Right? You said कि colleagues feel better. No, workers feel better. Okay? Otherwise, it was good speaking test. In real exam, if you work on your cue card length and these things, you can easily score 6.5 to 7 band. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.